Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Back here with another weekly update in the workshop. And I'm going to talk about what I've been working on here. So you guys can see I got a couple bells in front of me here. And then some more on the table here. But what we're working on here concerns this two-piece 1L. And what this is the 50K K5 LLA. I kind of went back and cleaned up some of these parts, and I'm trying to make this horn more era correct. You guys might remember this horn from past videos. I had a incorrect single piece 1L on there. It was a first manufactured single piece 1L, but still wasn't it wasn't early enough for this particular set of bells. So I snagged a two-piece 1L off of one of my parts early K5 HLs. I have plenty of early K5 HLs, so I didn't really need just another random parts one. I basically threw that one together just because I had the parts too, but I want to make this horn very era correct, so we're putting this two-piece 1L on there, and this is one that I took a lot of time to shine up. You guys can see my orange shirt is reflecting off of it there. You guys can see my hand reflecting off of it. Extremely shiny for sandcast, so I took a lot of time to kind of scrub that one out and get some shine back into it. We do have some sandblasted parts on this horn, sadly. The bells and all the back, some of the bells and all the back caps are sandblasted. So I took some time to try to shine those up. You guys can see I got some color reflection out of them, light reflection. That's about as good as it gets with sandblasting, without doing like even more time in shining, but it's good enough. The one bell and the manifold are painted. Eventually I will get around to stripping those, so that way the whole horn is unpainted. But this stuff is pretty cool because this is the very first time that we ever saw raised letter bells. So you guys can see the exteriors. Exactly the same. Not much has changed over the years. We still have the flare leading up to the power chamber, like that last, I don't know if that's like a ½ inch or a little bit over ½ inch. Still have that flare. We have the raised letters. The only difference with these bells to newer bells is these are also back when the A's were being hand stamped and not carved with a Dremel. So this is still in the era of stamping. I think the stamped A's carried all the way through the 70K era, and I think maybe it was like right at the start of the 80K era they started hand engraving the A's. So the stamped A's carried quite a long time yet, past these bells. But these are these would be early 50K. I have over here the stuff that I still need to get to eventually. There's a 51. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. Kind of see it there. 51K. K5HL. So this has a two-piece 1L, and then it's these bells that still have the bolts in them. Those are all the first run raised letter stuff. And then this other K5HL, this tag's a little bit harder to read. I can't really get a good angle on that, where that's going to focus. It's 55K. You guys have seen it in past videos. That tag's 55K. And then this is the single piece 1L for it. So sometime, I think it carried even past 52K. I think it was around 53K is when we started to see the single piece 1Ls. Internals, very minimal change in the internals on the like 53 to 55K stuff. They started to add this little bit of a lip, or that kind of relieve cut on the outside of the nozzle ring. They started to add that. The earlier stuff does not have that. It directly resembles 40K internals. And I can even show you, because I have some 40K parts sitting here. So this is this here is an unmarked 40K one bell. You guys can see there's no one anywhere on that. And there's the internals. So literally no change to the nozzle ring, no change to the bore depth. This one's a little bit dirtier, so of course it's going to look a little different. But literally the same structure. So like let's say you have let's say you have a 50 through 52 K K5 LLA. It's gonna sound basically exactly like an early K5 LLA. The internal structure is all the same. The 4As are that mid bore, so they're deeper than the half step, and that started back in like 30K. So you're gonna have that sound on these ones. So not until we get that later 50K when we start to see that, or the mid to late 50K when we start to see that single piece 1L, then you have a little bit of sound difference. But with these earlier raised letter horns, you're not going to hear much difference until you get to 60K and the tube bell started to get bored. That changed the sound of the horns quite a bit. But this stuff is really cool. It's it's raised letter, but it's still got all the foundations of non-raised letter stuff, which is really neat. The whole 50K era from 50 to 59, a lot of changes. Sometime past 55K, I'm not exactly sure when. I don't know if it was 56K or 57K, but somewhere they made more changes to the nozzle structure. I think I kind of showed that on my video of that 59K K5 LLA that I just put together. I think I showed the internals on that and kind of talked about some of that. Like I said, once I get some of these horns cleaned and done and together, tested, we'll get some sound clips, and then I'll start to go back and we'll take bells off, we'll take back caps off, we'll line things up, and we'll really look at the changes in the manufacturing over time, because I really want to get into that. It's really cool. It's something that I really enjoy about K horns, is just all these little changes that have happened over the years, and it's cool stuff. So, but we have the two-piece 1L all shined up, ready to go. This whole horn's ready to go back together. I just have to pick out diaphragms for it, pick out cushion rings. I am going to be looking through all of my cushion rings over here for thicker ones, because I did have to file these down to kind of get them trued up a bit. I still have plenty of distance between my back cap seating surface and my support ring, to where I'm still within spec, but it is it is lower. So I am going to want to be making sure I'm picking the right cushion rings for this, just so that way the horn has enough power, and it has a nice punch when I go to honk it. So still got some work left, but I should get the horn back together today, and then that'll go up on the shelf and be ready for testing. After this is done, I have this 40K era bell set. Now this is the bell set that was that parts built early K5 HL that I took this off of, and now you guys can see I have a 5 sitting with it. I have a 40K era, it's a CSX painted 5. The rest of these bells are either BNSF or Norfolk Southern, who knows, but they're black painted. So if this horn sounds good when I put it together, I'll probably, I don't know if I'll repaint it or just leave it. I don't know. Not too worried about the paint right now. I'm hoping it's going to sound good. I wanted to do a 40K, an early 40K era K5H. And I know a lot of people are more a bigger fan of like the early Sandcast K5Hs and the 90s and 80s K5Hs. And I am too, but there is something about the harmonics of the 40K era K5Hs that sounded really nice. The half step 4 really makes it sound, I would kind of call it happy. It kind of blends it together a little bit more. It's not such a harsh sound that the older K5Hs are. And like I said, I'm not saying I don't like that sound. I love the sound of early K5Hs. You guys saw that I tuned a modern day raised letter horn for an older K5L. But I do really enjoy the sound of the 40K era K5H. They just have a nice blended tone. So we're going to build that next. I have all the bells ready there. Once again, I had some corrosion kind of creep back up on some of these, so we're going to re-clean and treat those, and then get that horn back together, and that'll be another one to test. Hopefully it sounds good, because I don't have a two-piece 1L for that anymore. That was my last kind of spare-ish two-piece 1L, where I was willing to pull it off of that horn and put it towards this project to make this horn error correct. So like I talked about in my other video, you know, I'm trying to really hone in on some of these parts horns that I'm building and really make sure they're error correct. Really make sure they sound good as well. So it's a lot of fine-tuning, a lot of taking time to make sure I'm using the right parts with each other, and like I said, even being super picky down to the bolts that I'm using. I want to make sure I got error correct bolts on all these. I just really want to build some super nice error correct parts horns. Yes, they're parts horns, but they are an error correct piece that I can enjoy, and is a very nice show and tell piece of what was going on in that time frame with the K-horn production. So it's pretty much it. So just a little update on what I've been working on. Like I said, I'll get this horn together today. I don't know if I'll start cleaning these belts today or not. I've been working on this horn all weekend, so kind of ready for a break, but we'll get this one together for sure and get it up on the shelf, and that will give me 4 eras of K5 LLA. So that'll be nice to have back again. Walk you guys back over here. So we'll have our early K5 LLA, then we will have the first raised letter manufacturing run with the two-piece 1L K5 LLA, and then we have our 59K K5 LLA with a single piece. Now that is second manufacturing run of the second piece, or the second manufacturing run of the single piece die-cast 1L. I wish I had kind of a bridge gapper in between these two. I do have another first manufacturing run single piece 1L, but I don't have a manifold or the rest of the bells to complete that horn. So, but these horns will tell a perfect story of evolution, and then of course a more modern raised letter, curved letter back cap. Basically a modern day representation of what a K5 LLA is now today. So that'll give me a nice, really nice show and tell of all the eras of those horns. So that's what we're going to be working on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the update, and that's it for this video. Until next time, take care.